Welcome to the Indie Corner. We'll talk about all things independent comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Matt.
I'm Rebecca.
And today, people, we're back at again with another episode of our Transformers More Than Meets the Eye podcast. We're talking about episode 7, which is going to be our second part of our event of Dark Cybertron, which is going to be covering issues 7 to 12. So yeah, this is our last one, Rebecca, right? This is our last one before
for this year.
Okay, for this year. Great.
Right. For this season.
But yeah, listen, this is good stuff. It seems like we've been enjoying ourselves so far with this book and how ridiculous it is. But
yeah, this book has been on my brain for like the past 4 years, so I'm just glad someone else understands now.
And then we're also glad that y'all are actually caring about this series. People love their Transformers comics. Apparently, I'm still shocked about that because I'm just like, wow, I didn't think this series would blow up as much as I thought it would. But okay, it's nice to see. But all right, so we're gonna get right into it then.
Yeah, let's just hop right in.
All right, so
we're gonna hop right into issue 7. If you're confused by anything or forgot what happened, I'm not gonna do a recap. Go back and watch the last.
Watch episode. Watch episode 6.
Yeah, we're just gonna plow right through this one. So hopping in. This volume begins over at the Lost Light, where a few people, including Swerve, have stayed back to defend the ship. Speaking of Swerve, he's a little upset that no one on Orion's team knows his name because he's one of the main guys on the Lost Light. Right. However, he quickly gets over this when he realizes he missed a call from the away team. And that the rest of the crew is in danger as the army of other robots retreat into the Titan.
Okay.
So cool.
Cut to the rest of the crew. They realize they're not dead after the rod pod exploded last volume and that the rooms seem to have rearranged themselves. Skids points out that this means that the arrows they were following weren't meant to be a red herring, and additionally, they notice that Whirl is now missing. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, Swerve calls Getaway, telling them to get out of there because the stuff they found in the Titan's blood is a contagious disease, and also to leave because there's an army headed towards them. Mm-hmm. Over on Cybertron, even more goons show up to stand around and be evil, and Megatron is recaptured. Uh-huh. However, as the bad guys arrive to drop his body off at the bad guy lair, Bumblebee shows up to stop them. Okay. Galvatron beats on Bumblebee, but is saved by Megatron blasting him, and Megatron and Bumblebee escape. As they do this, Megatron starts laughing. B asks what's so funny, and Megatron's like, well, I might be having a bad day, but there's one person who's having a way worse one. Cut to Starscream having an even worse day.
Oh, I love it.
I forgot about that. So funny. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, so Starscream's surrounded by a burning ruined city as Scoop chews him out for fulfilling a prophecy that said he'd destroy them all. Meanwhile, in the Dead universe, Orion, Rodimus, and a few others are over with Nova Prime, who is keeping the body of Orion's friend Cup as a space bridge. Rodimus is like, we outnumber you. Why can't we just beat you guys up and leave? And Nova Prime starts listing a bunch of reasons that all amount to plot armor, then throws them in jail. Over in jail, Nightbeat explains that Nova Prime plans to turn them all into plot devices to power the portal. Before this can happen, though, Rodimus uses the number on his hand to give Nightbeat a mystery to solve, and solving it allows Nightbeat to break out of his mind control, meaning he is now on Team Good Guy. Also, we learned that the numbers add to the total of crew on the Lost Light, but we don't yet know what that number represents exactly.
Okay.
Back with the Lost Light crew, Whirl shows up with the enemy who... Back with the Lost Light crew, Whirl shows up with the enemy who blew up the rod pod as a hostage, and he reveals to no one's surprise that the enemy army is also, for some reason, working with Shockwave. And then the guy explodes, but that's not like a big deal or anything.
Okay.
Finally, this issue ends with a couple new characters entering and revealing that they're women.
They're women?
That's a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Girls.
Girls in Transformers comics? That makes no sense.
Yeah. That's a whole can of worms in itself.
Right. In terms of, do you mean in terms of lore or
There's a lot. I will touch on it in a sentence, and that's all I'm gonna say about it for this podcast.
We've seen like female. I mean, the only female transformer I can remember.
In More Than Meets the Eye, we have had 0 women up to this point, not counting this event.
Oh yeah, because like the other, because I remember like last volume, like last episode, with the first volume of Dark Cybertron, we saw RC, but the RC never showed up in More Than Meets the Eye. It was in Robots in Disguise, right?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, but women, great.
Women.
Okay, I'll say this right now. I want to say this off rip. I love B and Megatron's dynamic in this fucking arc. I love it so much. It's hilarious. It's so funny. And the fact that like it's just Megatron just being Megatron and then just B trying to tolerate this man even though he wants nothing to do with him is hilarious.
I like that he just carries his legs around.
He just carries him around like a backpack. It's like he's like Dora the Explorer. It's so great. It's hilarious, but yeah, I just want to say that off. I love it a lot in this whole arc.
Yeah, I tend to not enjoy the parts of this crossover so much that are about the robots we're not reading about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably because I just don't know who they are. I haven't been following them, for the past few months. But the dynamic between Bumblebee and Megatron is so much fun. I completely agree.
To be fair, you didn't miss anything with Megatron because he's not really a character in Robots in Disguise until he shows up to be evil for like a couple issues.
Okay,
sure.
But that's like a completely different version of Megatron, basically. Like I said, they kind of shift over how they write him, and this is kind of like the bridge between that, I would say.
Okay, so this is the beginning of like morally gray Megatron.
Yeah, well, I'm assuming you read this, so we'll get to how it ends. But
I have read this, yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'm good. No, I didn't say anything. I was just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I really have struggled to understand what exactly is going on in the Dead universe throughout this entire arc, and this continues to be the case. So thank God you're explaining it, because like the numbers on Rodimus's hand.
Here's the thing, Matt. I'm just going to cut you off. Nothing that happens in this book fucking matters. It's a horrible event. That's why we're just plowing through it.
Like you're saying, like, I don't understand anything in the Dead universe, but my mind when I read it, I was like, I love how good the art is in this. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about what was happening.
I was like, I really did not follow anything that's going on in the Dead universe. But if it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. So
I mean, when you think about what's accomplished, they pick up a few characters from there, but that's about it. There's some character development in there that I really like, but other than that, there's like nothing plot wise there. Nothing plot wise in this book really matters all that much.
Okay, but we didn't know about the numbers on Rodimus's hand.
They showed that last issue, but they haven't explained that yet. Okay.
Okay, because I didn't remember that, and I guess we'll talk about it when we get to the explanation. So I'll hold off for now.
Yeah, I believe that's in this next issue here.
Also,
I just
wanted to say real quick before we move on, I didn't realize that like Galvatron's name is derived from the word galvanized. I'm just like, I work at a hardware store. It's like rubbing off on me. That's such a dumb name, dude. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to make a tier list of dumb names in this franchise.
Actually, I kind of love that idea.
We need a fancy name that involves metal. Oh, galvanized. Let's have this man be named Galvatron. Fucking dumb. It's just like, wow.
He's galvanized Megatron.
Yeah, that's what he is.
Galvatron.
Fucking, he's galvanized Megatron. That needs to be on a shirt. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Right. Are we ready to move on to the next issue, or do we have any more thoughts here?
I don't have any thoughts as of now. Oh yeah, B still looks like shit. I don't like his costume. That's it.
Right, Matt, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. So issue 8. Opening up on Cybertron, Starscream's throwing a pity party for himself before Rattrap has to come over and remind him that people are literally dying as they speak.
So funny. They're just like, why does everything not work in my favor? While like robots are just being crushed and destroyed. It's like, dude, who cares, bro? It's not about
Mikey,
you.
if you edit this clip, please put in the Kim Kardashian people are dying.
I will. I will.
Anyway, since Starscream's not going to do anything about the city burning at this point, Rat Trap brings over the other secondary characters to give them something to do at this point. So Prowl takes charge, saying that Shockwave expects them all to argue, so they have to work together. He tells Starscream to, quote, lay down and die or get your city in order, and puts Soundwave on communication and sends everyone else to start beating up the Titan until they figure out its weakness. Also, I made a mistake last issue. Last volume, I said there were multiple different Titans. I think there's only one, but it's really confusing. But they only beat up one, so I'm assuming there was only one of them.
Sure.
True.
All right. So over with the Lost Light crew, Getaway points out that the girls have Autobot badges on, so they're on the same team. And then they escape together as the enemy army breaks through the door, though they leave Whirl and some others behind to fight them. As they're escaping, Ratchet's like, so what's up with that whole being a girl thing? So to make a long story short, in a rare misogyny-induced diversity win, all of the female Transformers in IDW are canonically either trans women or not from Cybertron. They're from like some offshoot planet.
I don't like that.
Huh.
That makes no sense. Just make.
That's all I'm going to say about it. Because like I said, talking about anything gender related in Transformers is like its own fucking can of worms. And I don't want to deal with it right now. So anyway, the blue girl is Chromia, the purple one is Nautica, and the red one is Windblade. And they're in charge of keeping Metroplex, the Titan they're inside, alive.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Metroplex came to this underwater planet to slow his disease, and the girls who were part of Thunderclash's crew previously came here to help him out. While Metroplex can't physically talk, he can still communicate in other ways. Also, the crew comes up with a plan to use the Lost Light's quantum engines to teleport Metroplex and all of them back to Cybertron, similar to what they did in the annual from a while ago.
Yeah.
Cut to the dead universe. Our heroes are running away from an army of robo-zombies as Orion states their plan, which is save Cup, beat up Nova, go home, and make everything better. Rodimus is like, so I should probably tell you about the whole like hand number thing. And Ryan's like, now really isn't the time for this. But of course, Rodimus continues. Apparently off panel, he confessed to the crew that it was his fault Overlord was on board the ship in the first place. Okay. And he held a vote of whether or not he should stay as captain. Of the 190 people, 89 voted for him to leave and 101 voted for him to stay. Orion says Rodimus should have resigned and would have if he was truly ashamed of his actions. And Rodimus is just kind of like, oh, like that's the exact opposite of what he wanted to hear.
Again, love this Optimus being like, Rodimus, stop being a bitch. I love it so much.
It's so good. I love this moment. It's so funny.
I cracked up. I was like, yeah, Optimus, put him in his fucking place. Like, it's just great.
Like it's a funny moment, but it's also kind of reflective of like the states they're in, like because this ties in later, but like Optimus or Ryan, whatever, is kind of like running away from his like legacy, whatever, and Rodimus is like, no, I should stay and like fix it, you know?
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to our plot here, Cyclonus is also dying in the background while this is happening.
It's so funny. Like, he just dropped to the ground and, like, no one does acknowledge it. Like, yeah, he's been getting worse this entire time. It's so funny. Okay,
so the team manages to save Cup, but before they can leave, Nova Prime shows up to square up against Orion. Over on Cybertron, things aren't looking so great. They still aren't able to get the Titans' attention, let alone make a dent in it. Then as Soundwave begins to say they'll need a miracle to win, Megatron and Bumblebee show up. Megatron says everyone should listen to him because he's quote unquote led an army battling for freedom for millions of years, but Bumblebee's immediately like, no, that's bullshit. I'm in charge. We're going to work together and the good guys are going to win. And that's the end of this issue.
All right.
So what do we think?
I will say this, right? The moment, okay, first of all, I love how Metroplex communicates with lights. That's funny. Also, the fact of the moment this man rose up out of that portal, I almost cried because I fucking love Metroplex. I think Metroplex is a really cool Transformers character, even though, like, yeah, he doesn't do much, but he's just a big ass Transformer. Like, it's just
he's
like
a big guy who punches things. What more could you want?
Right.
Because I've stated earlier in this podcast, my favorite Transformers game is Fall of Cybertron. He's a big part of that game later on. So I was like, seeing him in this comic, I was like, let's fucking go, my boy. My big ass boy's back. Let's go. So I was so happy to see him, like, you know, fixed and like ready to fight this the Titan. It's kind of like, now Rebecca, I kind of understand why you like this shit so much, is because like this is like, aren't you like a huge Godzilla fan?
I am a Godzilla fan,
Yeah,
but
so
I also
like,
cannot control what I hyperfixate on.
That's true. I was like, this is just a big ass kaiju fight, but just with Transformers instead of kaiju. Like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this issue was cool. Again, Megatron, Bumblebee, love it. Even though Bumblebee still looks like shit, and I don't like it. But I'm trying to find something like to compare their like dynamic to. I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of like a TV show or movie characters I can like compare them with. But I love their dynamic a lot. Starscream, again, don't like Starscream. No, I'm not like Matt, who's like a huge Starscream fan for no reason. But like, again, love his pity party. Love that he likes to make everything about him, even though it's not about him.
You know,
yeah,
what the Bumblebee and Megatron dynamic, the closest thing I can think of to relate it to is Cyclops and Magneto.
Really? Actually, yeah.
I haven't read enough X-Men to know what you're talking about, but I'll take your word.
I have read enough to get an idea of what he's talking about. I'm like, okay, you know what? I get that. That makes sense.
It kind of makes sense with their character dynamics if you think of Optimus Prime as like Chuck, and Bumblebee is his, you know.
We're always coming back to the X-Men comparisons.
Yeah.
This is an X-Men book.
This is an X-Men book.
Robot X-Men. I love it.
This is 90s. This is like 90s Chris Claremont, Jim Lee X-Men. Like, it's just, you know.
I mean, we even got this big dumb event where with a bunch of even more characters you never heard
show
of.
up, and then guess what? It doesn't matter.
And it doesn't matter. This is Robot X-Men. I love it. But yeah, that's probably the closest I could think of to their relationship. So
I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it for sure. Also, Cyclonus, man, your boy out here dropping like a fly out of nowhere, and like no one cares. It's just so funny, you know.
Yeah, Optimus and Rodimus are so wrapped up in their own nonsense.
Yeah,
see this guy
they're
both
feeding each other's egos to the point where like they don't give a fuck about how that Cyclonus has been dying since last volume. It's so funny.
It's great. He's Rodimus is like Optimus, tell me I did the right thing, and he's like, I feel bad about what I did. Shut up.
Yeah, it's like that Always Sunny thing where it's like, tell me I'm good.
Yes.
I also do like the fact that Prowl, I think Prowl, he takes more of a like a leadership role because, you know, Starscream's not gonna do it. So like I think that's really cool. I mean, it's
fuck Prowl though. Super fuck Prowl.
Yeah, I mean, like Prowl's but like
no, fuck Prowl. I hate him. I hate him so much. He sucks so hard.
I think it's fun to watch him get beat up though.
I agree.
Yeah. But I think him taking a leadership role, like it's fine. I mean, I would like to see more of it from B, but I mean, listen, he has Megatron to bitch with, so it's great. But yeah, no, that's all I gotta say. I liked it. I
was confused about the boat thing. I didn't know if it was something I forgot about, or because like
it was off panel.
It was off panel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But between my memory and the lack of knowledge I have around Transformers, I wasn't sure what was okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it's typical X-Men shit. It's something that, hey, like we showed you something in last issue that we haven't explained yet. So let's explain it off panel next issue. That's X-Men shit. Sure. You know?
Yeah, and that's also going to come up again next volume too. So we'll see more about that.
Yo,
Okay.
I just want my Drift series. Where's the Drift series coming?
We'll get to it eventually.
Okay.
All right. So moving on to issue 9. We're mostly through this event. We still got some to go though. All right. So starting over with Starscream, he's complaining how the good guys he called to help never showed up, and as he says that, the Lost Light and Metroplex arrive on Cybertron, punching the Necro Titan in the process.
Dude, that's such a good page, bro. Oh my god. I was like, this is I can never do shit like this. This is too much. But I love it. It's really cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah. So the Lost Light makes a crash landing, and the Robots in Disguise characters are really confused by this because as far as they knew, the Lost Light crew were all dead.
Mm-hmm.
So the cast, minus the Dead Universe group, reunite as the Titans fight in the background. After learning about Metroplex's thumb in the Lost Light, Megatron gets Bumblebee to take him there. Megatron says he has enough energy left to teleport one more time, though it may take a bit of time to do it. B says he better not just run off and wait for everyone to die so he can come back and take over the planet, but Megatron just smiles at him as he and the thumb disappear.
It's so good. I love that moment. It's so funny.
Meanwhile, in the Dead Universe, Orion is battling Nova Prime, but Nova is shape-shifting into different primes from Orion's past, and then also an exact copy of Orion. He allegedly he's teaching Orion a lesson about something legacies, something dictatorship. I don't know.
Yeah, I was so lost. I was like, I didn't. Why?
It's not important. Just go with it. We're trying to get somewhere with the character. Nova Prime.
Like literally, like I saw that trend,
Right.
that page on the left for him just changing. I'm just like, oh wait, no, look, there's 2 Optimus Primes now. Okay, I'll just roll with it. So
yeah, it's fucking stupid. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Orion gets punched and is seemingly down for the count, but in a role reversal, Rodimus gives him a great pep talk this time about how he always wanted to be like him and how Optimus Prime stood for decency and integrity and all that. Then Nova shoots Rodimus, knocking him out. But this gives Orion the confidence he needs to get back in the fight. He rips Nova's arm off, tells Nova he doesn't control him or his legacy, and says he's not Orion anymore. His name is Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
and it kind of rules.
Dude,
yeah, it does.
This is a Juggernaut X-Men Last Stand moment. I love it so much.
It's cool. And look, he conquers himself.
Yeah.
It's a metaphor.
It only took 9 issues to get here.
Yeah, he learned something here. Like it was fun. It was really cool.
It is cool. Are we gonna see? You know what? That's a later question.
Yeah.
Okay. So cut back to Cybertron. A bunch of fighting that I'm skimming over is happening. Then Megatron finally shows up in Metroplex's palm with his thumb. Metroplex crushes it in his hand, causing an explosion, and then uses it to punch right through and destroy the Necro Titan.
Sick.
And with that, the normal sun rises again. Starscream's disease mark thing disappears, and Megatron tells Bumblebee that the good guys won that day. However, the bad guys didn't get the memo that we still have 3 issues to fill in this event. So that's the end of this issue.
Like, I love the fact that, like, you think it's over, but then you realize, oh, wait, we have fucking 3 more issues left. Like, this seems like something that would happen, like, them defeating the Titans, something that would happen, like, at the very end, but no. You have to remember Shockwave still a thing.
It's so weird the way they did that, because after this, we have, like, a break issue, and then we have 2 more issues of, like, bullshit that don't really matter, but they want that, like, those few character moments and beats to happen, so they got to put it somewhere, you know.
It's like they realized halfway through their Shockwave event that it wasn't about Shockwave at all, and they're like, "Oh, wait a minute, we need to make it about Shockwave again." I don't know.
It's dumb.
It's dumb.
Yeah,
but I think this issue had a couple good moments. I think the like punching thing with Metroplex, that goes kind of hard.
Yeah,
I don't know. I like that a lot.
It was so cool. I was like, "This is," it's a double page. It's a double page spread too. It's like it's so sick. Awesome.
And we talked about the Optimus Prime fight. I love that. I love the relationship between Optimus and Rodimus. I talk about that every time they're on screen together. I just love those two.
It's so great. Their dynamic is so fun.
But that's such a good Rodimus moment too.
Yes, it is.
It's just so key. He's like, I didn't want to be Prime. I want to be you. And I'm like, ah! You know?
It's so good.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on this issue. I think I loved everything you guys said. I that's what I wanted to say. It's so good. It's good stuff.
Yeah. All right. So let's finish this event out then. So issue 10, checking in real quick. Over in the Dead universe, our characters realize they're stuck here with no way back. Meanwhile, on Cybertron, everyone thinks the day is saved. Asby says this is time for a celebration. However, as Prowl points out, Shockwave is still out there and probably doing more evil sci-fi bullshit.
Oh, of course he is.
And I'm skipping around this issue too. I don't care. But under orders, Ratchet puts Megatron back together, proving he can fix someone who's been cut in half, at least if they're cut sideways. In the Dead universe, our heroes are debating who should sacrifice themselves so everyone can possibly return to the regular universe. But Rodimus says no one should have to sacrifice themselves because they start talking like this whenever something starts to go wrong. Then Optimus hears something and Cyclonus points out that it sounds like singing. Cut to the Lost Light. Everyone, Autobots and Decepticons alike, are celebrating in Swerve's bar. This includes Brainstorm, who says he's not feeling so good. Then Blur, Swerve's idol, walks in and Swerve tells him what a big fan and bit of a stalker he is of him. I should also note Blur clearly has no idea who Swerve is or memories of meeting him before.
Yes.
Oh, it's so great.
I love it.
But it's a great little fan service moment.
Because it was that issue where it was like, oh yeah, me and Blur are tight. We're cool pals. And then like he really wasn't. So like I like how that they brush it up here. It's really nice.
Yeah. So over in the med bay, RC gets a new girlier looking body, and Megatron and Bumblebee talk. Megatron asks Bumblebee when he thinks Megatron was closest to winning the war outright. Megatron thinks that it was at a battle called Simanzi that cut the planet's population in half. However, after seeing Starscream lead, he now realizes that it wouldn't have been enough to physically win the war, but to win over the people. Looking back, he says he lost the war the moment he gave the order to fight.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It is so good.
Yeah. Elsewhere, Prowl catches up with Chrome Dome and confronts him on erasing some of his memories and leaving him vulnerable to mind control. Unfortunately for him, Prowl can't do this without making a dig at Chrome Dome's dead husband, so Chrome Dome throws him off a cliff, which good for him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, because fuck Prowl.
Landing below, the two of them begin to fight until Ultra Magnus comes along to break it up. Also, moments ago, Ultra Magnus learned that Metroplex won't give them hints to where the Knights of Cybertron are because none of them deserve to know.
Eat shit. I love it so much. They went through how many issues? How many issues they have to go through just to find these fucking Knights of Cybertron, and then Metroplex is the only one that knows. He's just like, nah, B, you're good.
They saved his life, and they're like, will you help us out? He's like, no.
No, you're good. Eat shit.
All right, so over with Starscream, he learns the prophecy Scoop believes in came from Shockwave, and he's like, well, that would have been nice to know 9 issues ago. And then Metalhawk, Waspinator, and Skywarp, who've all defected / escaped from the bad guys, tell Starscream that they're still evil afoot. So I kind of skipped over it, but from what I can tell, Shockwave's evil plan at this point is to basically create a black hole using the powers of the Dead universe, swallowing up this universe and making time and space go all weird. Yeah. Also, the alien army from the Lost Light subplot is invading the planet now, and that's how this issue ends.
Bro, what? It's just so much at once.
Shockwave has like an infinity gauntlet. He's got like 12 rocks that have different magic powers, and like
and none of them matter.
No, none of it matters. It's Shockwave's plan is dumb.
This whole thing is dumb. It's entirely predicated on sci-fi bullshit that you're not invested in.
No, it's awful.
And it's just so much at once. Like it's just like they don't really pace this out well to be like, yeah, like, you know, it's just like, oh, he's doing this.
They should have gone back to the writer's room on this one and figured out, here are all the character beats you want to have.
Yeah.
How do we do that with like one villain and like way less nonsense?
Because literally at the end of
maybe
this
one
issue,
rock is at a 14.
Yeah, exactly. Because literally at the end of this issue is literally just like, oh yeah, Shockwave has like 15 fucking Infinity Stones. Also, yeah, he's starting to make a black hole now. Also, remember the aliens, the other fucking alien robots that like we showed up like briefly in the last last time we saw them. Oh yeah, they're here now too. It's so much at once.
So much.
Yeah.
And none of the fights outside of Shockwave matter, and even the Shockwave fight doesn't matter that much.
No,
they're just there to give the characters something to do, even though the characters don't need to be here for this, you know?
Exactly. But there's a lot I love in this issue. This might be my favorite issue of the event. The Megatron stuff is awesome.
It's so good, dude.
Megatron stuff is very good.
His conversation with Ratchet is so good. I love that so much.
I didn't have an ear, but I love that one line where Megatron's like, "I wanted to be a medic," and Ratchet's like, "I wanted to be a genocidal like guy."
It's so good. I love Ratchet. Ratchet's one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
Ratchet,
the more I read this, the more I'm like, I think Ratchet might be my favorite character.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I'm forever a Drift stan, but Ratchet is one of the funniest characters in this fucking book. Like,
It's kind of snarky, and it's so good every time.
It just lands every time.
It does. I also love how Megatron, seeing how terribly Starscream bungled everything, is kind of like the genesis for a change of heart. That's really interesting. Or I don't know if change of heart is the right term, because I don't really know exactly what they're doing with him, but for his character development, and that's super cool. I love that.
Starscream still sucks. Starscream still sucks.
What?
Starscream still sucks.
Yeah, I know he sucks, but that's the point.
Yeah.
I love him because he sucks. Really, it's just the character stuff. The little character interactions through this issue is a lot of fun. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I really want Swerve to do another headshot in this one though. Not gonna lie, I'm missing Swerve to pulling headshots, man.
Yeah,
this book isn't about him.
I know.
He thinks it is.
Note to self.
He's one of the main guys.
No, yeah, but like, listen, I just want more Swerve headshots. I know we don't get any in this, but like, in the future, just for future reference, next year, more Swerve headshots.
Let's go back in time and rewrite the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got nothing to say. I'm good.
Right. Matt, you good?
Yeah.
All right. Issue 11. Hopping into this issue, we start with a quick flashback to a few months ago. Brainstorm is studying Nova Prime's regular universe corpse, trying to learn more about the dead universe when he's zapped by some sort of strange energy. On Cybertron, the planet is being overrun by aliens.
Everything is going to shit. Everything is going to shit. It's so great.
Meanwhile, Shockwave activates something he calls a time drive to turn himself into a black hole, I guess. And this causes him to, I think, experience all of time at once. Don't worry about it. It doesn't really make sense.
This is so stupid. This man was like, plot twist, I'm the black hole. It's just like, what?
Don't worry about it.
Oh my god.
So our groups of protagonists on Cybertron converge once again to create a team to go take down Shockwave, while Metroplex and Devastator hold back the aliens and other enemies.
Question. What are these? These are combiners, right? These guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I had to remember that because I remember Devastator, and that was really cool. But I was happy to see them in this. I don't know.
I don't know.
Are those the little guys that follow around
Prowl? Yeah,
they're Prowl's fanboys.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Entourage. There's Entourage. There's Posse.
Yeah, and together they form Devastator.
Okay. I thought they're that little bit where they're Prowl fanboys. It's really funny.
Which, if you think about it, though, that's kind of baller, though. The fact that you got like your posse just turned into one big ass transformer, like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the best thing about Prowl is that he's friends with the big guy. I agree.
He's friends with multiple Transformers that turn into a big guy, man.
You're right. And actually he hates them. So
Yeah.
All right. So using Skywarp, the group teleports into Shockwave's lair and fights their way further inside. On the way there, Megatron and Beast stumble upon Galvatron, who says he won't try to fight them since Shockwave used him to get dead universe powers. Megatron wants to kill Galvatron for ripping him in half earlier, but B talks him down, asking him if he wanted to be the type of person who would rather kill than not kill, and Megatron relents and spares him. However, immediately after this, Shockwave shoots and kills Bumblebee.
Okay, now, this caught me so off guard, man. Look at his face, bro. He looks done. He got.
Yeah, you can't recover from this.
Oh my god! But listen, here upside to this. When I read this, like, yeah, listen, man. At least we'll get a remodel, not have that shitty look again. That's fucking, you know.
Yeah, we can go back to the original design.
Exactly.
Yeah, ditch the blue.
All right. Elsewhere in the lair, we see Skids, Ultra Magnus, and Brainstorm fighting off this guy called Bludgeon. He's not important, so don't worry about it.
Dumb name.
When Brainstorm, who's still feeling sick, passes out, and suddenly we see a hand pop out of his chest, revealing the crew from the dead universe, and that's the end of this issue.
And then this is the part where I was just like, what? Like, I'm just like, okay. Like, all right.
They had to get back somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I feel like that silence kind of sums up the issue.
Yeah, like it's just like I don't know, like
yeah.
It's just like, all right.
Sure,
like,
why not? We're already so far in at this point.
Yeah, this is just Shockwave's dumb stuff. Megatron had some cool moments, and Rip B, I guess.
Yeah,
the pages with Megatron are interesting, and everything else in this issue are kind of like, I don't care.
Yes.
Yeah, like Shockwave is dumb. B is cool, but needs that new look. I mean, listen, he got his cap pulled back. Shit happens. He's gonna get the remodel. Megatron is great.
At least in these issues, you can see his face, and it's still like Bumblebee, you know?
Yeah. So yeah,
right.
which I appreciated. Megatron is great. Devastator's in this book. Woo.
You're right.
Yeah, I don't know anything else besides that. Yeah, and then like just they end up getting back by going in through Brainstorm, and I'm just like, that's so like what? Like I don't know how to comprehend.
It really shows the planning they took when you have to introduce your plot device in the issue where you make it relevant.
It's literally like they were in the writers' room being like, we need to find a way to bring them back, but we haven't figured that out yet. So let's just do it last fucking minute. And like, oh yeah, he just goes through the Brainstorm's chest. The end.
Like, I feel if you had even taken that one page and put it like 3 issues ago, I would have been like, fine, you know.
They're like in the writer room. They're like, all right, guys, quick, we need to come up with a way to get them out of the dark universe. Quick, Brainstorm. That's it.
Yeah. Random ass, like the most random Transformer to use as an exit. They could have done Megatron because he did have a fucking space bridge in him.
Yeah, they were pushing guys at him earlier.
Exactly. So like, why the fuck did you just use him? Or I don't know who else, but yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It makes no sense.
Yeah. All right. So last issue of this event. Woo.
Woo. There we go. Yeah.
All right.
Cool cover though. Love the cover for this.
That's okay. Anyway, once again.
Sorry.
Once again.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It'll take more than that to impress me. But once again, we open up on our heroes being overwhelmed by the impending bad guys. However, there's nothing of note to really talk about in this section, so we're just going to skip over it.
Okay.
Over with Optimus and the Lost Light characters, half of the dead universe characters are dying. Brainstorm says he may be able to save them, but they'll need one of the hero types' help to carry everyone back to his lab. So Rodimus volunteers to help these guys, despite Cyclonus calling him a coward for it, because it's the right thing to do and he thinks with his heart before his head. On the way there, they also see images from all across time playing in the sky, whatever that means.
What?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's just a cool page, I guess.
It's cool. But I mean, it's just like, wow.
Like I said, don't worry about it. Don't get hung up on the sci-fi in this because it doesn't matter.
Making my head hurt.
Over at the Megatron Shockwave fight, Shockwave's pulling a "We're not so different, you and I" when Optimus and Ultra Magnus jump into the fight. However, Ultra Magnus is immediately knocked out since he's not important enough in the meta to contribute to the climax.
Yeah, of course.
Cut to Starscream. He's fighting a guy who's wearing armor based on his new body. Again, this isn't really that important. As they fight, Metalhawk figures out by self-sacrificing himself, he can stop some of the sci-fi bullshit going on, and he's okay with dying now since he's doing it on his own terms. And Starscream manages to kill the baddie after learning from fighting him that he has swords that can extend from his arms.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Metalhawk's sacrifice somehow causes all the invading aliens to explode, and the Lost Light crashes into the bad guy combiner, finishing off all the enemies who aren't Shockwave. Speaking of, as Shockwave points out, he's way stronger physically than Optimus at the moment, so fighting him is pointless, and all Optimus can do is try reasoning with him. So he gives a speech about how Rodimus reminded him who he used to be and who he could be again, and how he wants to do that for Shockwave, but it doesn't work and he gets blasted.
Mm-hmm.
So Megatron comes in and tries to upstage his change talk by holding up Bumblebee's Autobot badge and basically saying, "This symbol represents our oppressors, but I really liked Bumblebee, so I'm not going to fight the Autobots anymore."
Dude.
For whatever reason, this is so profound that Shockwave rarely reverts to his pre-lobotomy personality and realizes the monster he's become or whatever.
Sure.
Yep.
So in one last moment of clarity, Shockwave asks Optimus to kill him, destroying the time drive in the process, which he does while promising to remember the Shockwave who wasn't completely evil. Shooting Shockwave causes a black hole explosion thing to form, but Optimus and Megatron are rescued by the Lost Light at the last minute and moved to safety. Down on the ground, Soundwave can see that Megatron is now wearing Bee's Autobot badge, and Galvatron comes to be the new eventual leader of the Decepticons. Over with Starscream, him and Rat Trap are climbing out of the rubble, and Rat Trap accuses Starscream of still being partially responsible for all of this, but Starscream's like, "Don't worry, there's still time to spin this in my favor."
Of course there is.
Trifling.
Finally, Megatron and Optimus are talking. Megatron says him wearing the Autobot symbol is not a trick, and the two walk out into a new beginning for our books. And that's the end of the Dark Cybertron event. The end. Yay.
This book sucks.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where we go from here. What I was gonna ask earlier, and now's the more appropriate time. Are we going to be seeing more of Optimus Prime and or Megatron going forward in More Than Meets the Eye?
Okay, so spoilers, but not really spoilers because we'll see this when we next pick it up. So Megatron's going to be a main character in More Than Meets the Eye.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing, right? Well, I said this last week. I spoiled myself when I was looking for thumbnail images because the next.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, let me put that up there
because the next issue of Transformers literally has Megatron just. I think he's like walking. I think he's like walking towards like tailgate or something. Full on Autobot symbol. I fucking lost it. I was like, what the fuck? Man, listen. Anything to get me bricked up is freaking Megatron as an Autobot. It's crazy.
So right off the bat, I know you guys haven't read anything. What's your take on Megatron being an Autobot?
It's so cool.
Oh, I love it.
I don't know why. Like, it's just like I think that's such a cool because I always thought that like, okay, Megatron is Megatron. What else can you do with that? It seems very flat. Now I mean in terms of like character progression, but let's just have him be an Autobot for a little bit. That's different. And I'm curious to see his dynamic with the other Autobots now, especially how due to like his fucking gangsta as a rep as a Decepticon, being the Decepticon, and how they're gonna be like a little antsy about it, having him like on the Lost Light and shit. Like that'd be kind of hilarious.
Right. He's gonna be sharing this book with Rodimus and Ultra Magnus.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it's so good.
It's like kind of like think about like Cyclonus kind of had those vibes a little bit where it's like. He's even though he doesn't think he says he's not a Decepticon, but like he's still like the Decepticon on the ship though, and they didn't trust him, So now what happens when you're just like when you literally get the Decepticon, like the original, the OG, on your fucking ship? trying to be a good guy.
Yeah.
Like, how is that gonna work? Like, it's so cool.
I'm so excited. That is the best news.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of next episode, while we're on the slide, so the next volume we're going to cover is More Than Meets the Eye, Volume 6. That covers issues 28 through 33. We're going to pick up in the new year, not right after the new year, but on Monday, January 9th. Hopefully at 7:30. We never know what time or day it's really going to be.
Right.
And so that means we're taking a break for December. We'll see you next year, but that also means we're going to miss the holiday special. So we might do that when we do the Drift series, like just tack it on.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
That actually makes sense. Is it just one issue, the holiday special?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 3 little stories, but it's cute.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. No, I'm excited. Yeah.
I'm really excited. I'm so excited for this.
But should is final thoughts time? Should we do final thoughts? I don't know if we already did it or not.
I think we mostly did it, but if you have any more final thoughts, feel free to do it. I will say this. So like I said, we're going to see Megatron in More Than Meets the Eye as one of the main characters. Optimus is going to be in Robots in Disguise as one of the main characters now. We're going to read, after we do this volume, More Than Meets the Eye, we're going to do that volume of Robots in Disguise because there's a time skip after this. And we're going to do the one volume. We're going to see if we like it. If we don't, we're going to drop it. If we do like it, we're going to continue, at least until we don't like it anymore.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. So I don't know how deep after like this season of like books we'll get into it, because after this there's a lot more, but at the very least we're going to go to the conclusion of More Than Meets the Eye.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so excited.
That sounds like a plan. All right, that's good. But yeah, I'll say this though, just with this event, I mean, it sucks, but I mean, I'm happy that like, you know, we there's some fun stuff that happened with it, you know, Starscream being a bitch, great. Optimus Prime and Rodimus's dynamic, great. Metroplex coming back, awesome. Love Metroplex. I don't know. Shockwave sucks. I mean, it sucks that, like, you know, I remember when we did that volume, the Shadow Play volume, and that was like, he was like the big tease, and I expected there to be, you know, some good stuff with him later, but obviously after reading this, it's kind of a waste of like an appearance or like a cameo. But I don't know. The overall, I think it's really this event. It sucks, but some cool stuff to take out of it, especially Megatron in the future. I'm so excited to see Megatron.
Like we kept saying, there's definitely some cool art, and there's definitely some cool character moments. But other than that, you can skip this. You know, you can read the wiki article.
But yeah, moral of the story is these writers hate women. Because because the way they do the women Transformers in this book, I don't know about. I don't like it. but yeah, I'd say if I had to give it's not really a verdict thing or like a final verdict. But if I had to get like a rate this event, it's a solid like 4, 3 and like 4. It's a 4 for me.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, yeah. So
yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Nah, you have anything to say? You good?
I'm just excited for what comes next.
What would you rate the event?
I'm glad we're doing this event, and I'm excited that the coming stuff seems really exciting. So,
what would you rate the event out of 4? I mean, out of 10.
Out of 4?
Out of 10. Out of 10. Sorry.
That's really tough because some of it I really liked, and some of it I super didn't. 4 seems right. 4 seems right, but when it's good, it's up there. It's a good 8.5 at its best.
It's a good 8.5 at its best. All right, you're
It's that 8.5 material that brings it to a 4. You know.
Oh yes, ultimately it's a 4.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. All right. I mean, that's basically it. I don't know. Oh, sorry. Besides like that one artist that I love that did the Dead Universe stuff, he's incredible. Oh Lord, I wish he did the rest of the book, but he's not. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Anything else before we just do the outro?
No.
Nothing. All right, people. So that's basically it. So thanks for everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate it. Like Rebecca said, we're going to be doing this, continuing this next year, taking a break for this series, at least for the holidays. So be on the lookout for that next year with one more episode of this podcast. We appreciate the support that you've been giving us in terms of all the other videos. Check out some of the clips that we've been dropping, which have been a lot of fun to make. Also check out the interview with writer Pornsock Pinchachotes, which is a great interview, our first interview. And you hear a lot of stuff about his writing, his process, his books that we've covered, and it was a good time. But yeah, Matt, we just want to drop out there. We might be doing Sex Criminals next week, hopefully, probably. I hope
We've
so.
been saying we were going to do it for weeks, so we'll see if it actually happens.
I don't know. I don't really know what to say about that.
I feel like if the same,
maybe we'll do Sex Criminals, maybe we won't.
I feel like don't say we won't. We will. That's gonna happen.
Maybe we will.
Yeah.
Maybe we will. You won't know it, but subscribe.
Yeah,
ring the bell. End the live stream in that order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so look out for Sex Criminals. Also, we might do a holiday special, a holiday one and done, and I have a book for it, so be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that's basically it. People, notification bell, hit that up so you know when we drop our videos and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We're tired, so we're gonna go to bed now. So just as usual, appreciate the support. Get home safe. We'll see you in the next time. Peace.